This lab is for DHCPv6 relay agent. Now, this is the topology that we have here, and I'm doing it on GNS3. So this is the topology that we have here. So this is the same thing. So if you look at here, this is R1, this is R2, this will be our PC1, and this is going to be our PC2. Now, this is our headquarter. And let's say this is our branch office. Okay, so this is going to be our branch office. Okay, so headquarter, and this is our branch office. Now, for PC1, it is not a big deal, since PC1 and R1, they are in the same network here, and he's running DHCP for both branch office and also for headquarter. Since they are in the same network, he will easily get an IP address. But for PC2, when he sends the solicit message, it comes to this point, and it is in the multicast format. However, this message will not go to this message cannot go from here to here. Okay, this message cannot go from here to here. So what we need here is a relay agent. So we'll need a relay. I will not write RA, then you might get confused with router advertisement message. So I will write here relay agent. Okay, the relay agent has to be configured here, and this interface will hand out the IP address to the device PC2. So that is our goal that we have. Now, I'll just take one more here. First of all, if you look at here, this is not a problem. This is like super easy. You can get an IP address. The problem is, this is your, let's see, if I consider this is your network 1, this is your network 2, and this is your network 3. So PC2, in order to get the IP address from this router, which is R1, actually he will have to get out of his network. You cannot get out to another network until and unless you can here, because they both are in the same router, but for, let's say, for communication between them, you need a, like when you test, of course you can test, like if you get an IP address, that's fine, but in the real life, actually you should be running a routing between these two routers. So this is not the topic that we are going to discuss here today. I will be using here RIP-NG next generation. That is what comes with IPv6. Because if you want to ping from PC1 to PC2, actually N3 and N1, they are not connected to the same router. So the router R2 will never know about N1 because he's not connected to N1. Then how would he know about N1? Only if you run a routing protocol between R1 and a routing protocol between R1 and R2, then only network N1 can communicate with N3. Okay. Now I will be running ripng, like even in the real life, in the practical we use address family and there are a lot of things. Okay. But the easiest way I can go is using a ripng. So you don't have to worry about the coding for the ripng. You can use any of them. So if I just show you, so this is the coding for the ripng. So this is the configuration that you need to run on both the routers. Okay. Now let us go step by step. The first thing, we come here. We started all of them. Let's come here, connect to the console. Console and console. Just put it here. Okay, so if we come here, I will walk you through the configuration first. So if you look at here, of course you're gonna run unicast routing. Anytime you configure IPv6, you want to enable the RA message from the router, you need to anything. This is a mandatory whenever you are configuring IPv6. You are configuring IP addresses on the interface. Now if you look at here very carefully, you can see the IP addresses. So if you look at here, these are the IP addresses that we have. Like if it is not clear, it should be clear now. Okay. So if you look at here, this is something that we have here. This is something that we have here. This is something, they both are in the same network. So if you look at here, one is 1, another is 2, and this is something in a different network. Okay. Okay. Now let's start with the configuration. So you configured the IP addresses on the interfaces. So you configured the IP addresses on the interfaces. Very simple. Matching with the IP addresses you configured on the interfaces. Now you are going to configure the DHCP pool. So this is the command for the DHCP pool. This is the name of the pool, and this is the prefix. So if you compare with IPv4, like it's like a network address. You want to give extra information for this particular DHCP pool. Yes, so this is your DNS server and this is your domain name. Now you need to go to this interface and you need to enable, like in this interface. So what happens is, if anyone comes from here to this interface with the solicit message, you need to give him an IP address, right? So from which pool you are going to give the IP address? From which pool you are going to hand over the IP address? So you need to mention that this is the So if someone comes to E0/0 interface, give him an IP address from this pool, and you use this message, you use this command with the help of RA. You send to the device. You don't configure any IP address or anything like that. I give you everything. Okay. Yeah, so no shutdown is not mandatory here, okay, because you already put here no shutdown. Okay, so that's fine. I do have some extra commands like enable config in some places. If you understand, it becomes much more easier. You will be able to understand which is extra or which is like there is no problem running here no shutdown, or because it is already, I already run no shutdown here, so this is completely fine. Now you need to this is the pool, R1 DHCP pool for this part of the network. There is another pool which is R2 LAN, and if you look at here, the IP address that you have here in this R2 LAN, okay, so if you look at here, 200 R2 LAN, so R2 LAN, so 2001 DB8 2, and if you look at here, 64. So my R2 LAN I'm configuring here is basically the pool that will give the IP address on this side of the network, which is, I think, N3, network 3, which is N3. Okay, that is for N3. So I think you already know that you can configure, instead of having multiple DHCP servers, if you keep everything in one server, which is possible, that becomes much easier for you to manage and also to provide security and all these things. Okay, and after that you will be handing over the IP address, like for you are going to tell this interface, which is S2/0, like from which pool he is going to hand over the IP address. Is R2 LAN, the one that you have created. And you have to configure here. Why you have to configure here? Because see, if you look at here, because this device is coming through this interface. Okay, so you have to tell him, okay, that which pool he gonna use to hand over the IP address. And of course you need to communicate with RA message, router advertisement message. So you need to put here nd managed config flag. So you are setting m flag to 1. Okay, so if you look at here, this is like you are going to give the IP address with the help of RA message, and this is the configuration for the routing. So if you look at here, like when you see this RIP, okay, like this part is for routing. So this is the command that you need to run on both the routers. So if you look at here, I have on R2 as well the same command for routing. And if you look at here on R2, this is the S2/0, the IP address, unicast routing, that is mandatory. Then E0/0, this is where you are configuring the relay agent. First of all, you are giving an IP address, and if anyone comes to this interface for an IP address with the solicit message, you say, okay, I will give you that one, and meanwhile you will transfer his solicit message, okay, to this particular, so the relay destination is 201. So if you look at here, so if anyone comes to this interface for an IP address, the relay destination is 201 CD, so he will be sending it to this port, okay, to this port here, okay. This is the IP address for this interface. And after that, he already has a pool for this R2 LAN, and from there he will give an IP address, okay. And this is the configuration, routing between them. Now as I said, this is going to be your PC. This is going to be your PC1, and you are saying you don't have an IP address, so you are just looking for an IP address here. So you say on this interface, I'm getting IPv6 address DHCP. Now this IPv6 enable, this command, it depends on the it depends on the make and model of the device. Now if I ask you a question, on this interface you are getting an IPv6 address, so that IPv6 address will be something similar to this, right? Now as you know that when we configure the DHCP pool, or for the DHCP configuration, we never configured the default gateway. We never configured the default gateway. Why? because we know that there is link local address, and the routers, they communicate between them with the help of link local address, and the router on this interface, even though he has a global unicast address, but he will be using the link local address as a gateway. Link local address as a gateway. Now, in order to enable the link local, okay, you need to write this command, IPv6 enable. Now, on some devices it is automatically enabled, okay, so whenever you just configure like IPv6 address DHCP, he will automatically by himself enable the link local, but for some devices it may not, okay, so you need to check whether your device enables it automatically or not. If it doesn't enable, then you need to put this command, IPv6 enable. And obviously you need to make sure the port is not in a shutdown state. The same thing for the other device, that is R4. It's not R4 actually, that is looks like R4. The host name is PC2 and you're requesting the DHCP address for that one. Okay. Now, if I come here and this is my, so I will copy this configuration, everything, copy, enter, go to R2, the same thing. Okay, unicast, configure the IP address, then interface 0 IP address, then if anyone comes for an IP address, then you are configuring the relay agent, and after that is the routing between R1 and R2. Okay, this is for R3, like making it like a PC1 and requesting a DHCP IP address for its interface. And same for R4, making it as PC2 and also requesting the DHCP. Okay, now the first thing that you're going to check here, if you have received an IP address or not. Okay, so how can you see? If you put here do show IPv6 interface brief, so if you look at here, your Ethernet 0/0, which is PC1, has got a link local address and also a unicast address. Now look at here very carefully. You see 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, and if you look at here 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, that means it got, they are in the same network and it got the IP address from the, DHCP. Now do the same thing from here as well. Do show IPv6 interface brief, and if you look at here, he got both the IP addresses. Okay, so this is for the command IPv6 enable, and this is what you got with the DHCP, requesting for the DH. So if you look at here, DB820, and if you look at here, you see DB82, okay, 2001 DB82. Now some things you can check from here as well. So for example, if you want to look at the DHCP binding, like this DHCP server has handed over two IP addresses. One is to this PC1, another is to this PC4. So we will be able to see them with the command exit. So DHCP binding, so if you look at here, this was given to the first client and this is given to the second client. Okay, check the DHCPv6 video to know more about it, but now I think so. If you look at here, his IP address is A566. So if you look at here, his IP address is A566 and the other one's IP address is 19E6. So if I ping this address, it should be also successful. Let's do a ping. You see here, success rate is 100%. So even they can communicate with each other. Okay, now yep, so let's look at something else as well. So if you want to see the pools as well, so if you just give the command, so you'll be able to see two pools. This is for the local LAN and this is for the remote LAN. Okay, more can be seen something like okay, I can show you that one. So just reload this one. I think there is no confusion with this one, so do reload. Why I'm reloading, I will tell you. Do reload. Now I lost the configuration because I didn't save any configuration here. Okay, now before I paste that configuration, I will just here start capture. Okay, and let me put this command over here for R4. And if we come here, okay, now if you look at here very carefully, you see here, first of all, once you put that, rip ng was used, and if you look at here, they used obviously link local address. Okay, here now because the devices, they don't have IP address yet. Okay, now look at here, you see here DHCP, the first one. So if you look at here, the solicit, so if you look at here, the solicit, that was sent from 12.2 to 12.1. Okay, so if you do some further configuration like investigation, so anything is sending from here to here is the communication on this part, However, anything sending from here to here is the communication of this part, right? Is the communication. And I'm capturing the packet here. I'm capturing the packet here. So if you look at here, 12.2 is sending to 12.1 solicit. Then 12.1 is advertising to 12.2. Then request is done by 12.2. And after that, reply is done, okay, from 12.1 to 12.2. So this is the SAR thing. And if you go there, like, you will be able to see a lot more information. Okay, you can take things and you will be able to do a lot more. Okay, like investigation, how, if there is a problem, okay, or something, okay, you will be able to see from here as well. So you see here, you will find this number. When we do the binding, you will find this you will find this number, okay, over there. Okay, so you see T1, T2, then the lease time and everything is there. Okay, so this is an advantage that you have. Actually, if there is a problem or something, you can come and you can do further investigation on those things. Okay, and if you look at here, there is a relay message as well. You see here, there is the relay message as well. Okay, so yeah, so I don't want to make it more length here. You already understood like how it is going to work. Okay, and it is working. So here you need to send a relay agent, and it will help you to get the IP address from anywhere, as long as you have a routing protocol. The relay agent, so when you configure the relay agent should be able to reach the DHCPv6 server. So in our case, the DHCPv6 server was him, and we did have a routing between these routers. Since we have a routing between these two routers, we were able to reach, like the relay agent was able to reach him. Now, if the relay agent was not able to reach him, then his request will not be sent, and there is no question of giving the IP address. So that is very important to understand as well. Okay, and if you want to see the routing, verify the routing, you can come here, you can to show IPv6 routing. Okay, so show IPv6 route. So if you look at here, this is R1, and if you look at here, the routing table contains even DB82, okay, then CD9 as well. So this is very important. Usually you will see nothing if there is no routing. Make sure that you check this one. The same thing, okay, you have information of network 3. You remember I told that this is network 3. So in R1 you have information about network 3, and if you look at here 2001, in R2, even though R2 is not connected with this 2001, okay, directly, but you will have his information. So if you put here do show IPv6 route, so if you look at here, you see 2001, 1234, 1234, 1234, okay, double colon 64, okay. So this is very important. Without routing, it will not go through.